Hello.
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 Let's go!
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
Does the word duh mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earned beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds.
Step into my office.
Not going to be too many punks.
Don't you stop worrying about the punk?
Fuck you! That's my name!
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing for your listening pleasure.
Hi, and welcome to the High Fives Punk Rock Podcast Year-End Extravaganza, also known as my little vanity project, where I go through a bunch of albums that I really like this year and try to force them on you. My name's Mike. I'm your host. I'm Sans Justin, or if you're really old school, Sans Nate. But this is my year-end list. I know I say this every year, but 2024 was, again, super difficult to wind down a list, but I did it. I'm not going to pretend like this is a best of list or anything like that. These are just 30 albums I really liked and I think you should give a listen to. By no means is it the best list or the most accurate, but it's a bunch of albums I liked. If I could go on forever, I would probably have like a 2000 album episode or something lame like that. But no one needs that sort of thing. Again, this is why I don't really rank them or anything. It's just an insight into some of the stuff I liked. And like I said, one of the reasons we do this podcast is to highlight bands we like and whatnot, and hopefully give them some attention that they don't get outside of our little niche here. If this episode gets a little too long for you, I will have the list posted on our Instagram. As well, I'm going to post my quote-unquote off-brand list, a list of EPs, a list of local releases that I loved. So yeah, it's a lot. But I hope you find as much joy looking into these lists as I do each year. It's why I like looking at other people's lists, not my lists. Doing my list is a whole agonizing process. But that's for another that's for another day. On that note, if you send in your list, we will post it on our Instagram. It's always crazy how much there is at the end of the year that you somehow missed, even if you think you're on top of it. And before we start, I just want to say thank you to all the listeners. This year and in previous years. It's been kind of a rough one for me personally. So doing this podcast took a lot of stuff off my mind and really helped kind of act as an outlet. I guess that's the sort of thing you do if you're not really creative. You make a podcast because you can't be in a band or write a book or do anything like that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. I really can't convey how thankful I am. And as we wind down the year and start a new one, I hope the best for all of you. And here's just discovering new music and supporting our little scenes and niche in the music world. Yeah, that's it. But now onto the music. As usual, I'm going to divide this up into little segments, and I'll try to cut down all the talking because my voice is annoying on its own. It really needs a second person here to banter with. So right out of the gates, let's get to this music. First album up, The Bad Ups, their album Life of Sin. This is a band I mentioned a couple episodes ago, or maybe even in the last episode. I can't keep track of all my wheeling dealing, but I'm still really digging this debut release. They play punk in the style of the 90s and early 2000s, tinges of ska, and maybe even some oi or street punk in there. If you're a fan of the Epitaph and Fat sound and craving a good throwback to that era of the late 90s, any of these songs could have appeared on any of those Fat record comps or Punkораmas, and you would not be disappointed and would have you seeking more. And the song I went with is called Future Sucks. Hopefully your future doesn't suck. Up next, Make War, their album A Paradoxical Theory of Change. Make War continue to impress me. They're consistently solid. On their latest album, they put out another great punk rock album with mindful lyrics, and it's one of those albums that flows from start to finish. So it's maybe not so jam-packed with singles, if that makes sense, but it's an album that flows perfectly, which is something that I feel isn't attempted anymore these days with streaming and whatnot. I feel like people are looking for the single. People are looking to catch your eye right away or catch your ear right away. And maybe the art of putting out a full album is lost. On this one, Make War did a great job of it. Front to back, awesome. And it just flows as like one giant album. The song I chose was Tell Me. And after that, I'm going to play a song from the Lookouts album, I Know the Future. I Know the Future is an album that slowly grew on me. At first, I was like, oh, this is pretty sweet. But as time went on, and I was in the car, my shuffle would toss a song on, or I'd find myself liking it more and more. The Lookout are from Montreal, and the lazy, easy vocal comparison would be the Distillers. And I hate doing that, especially when it comes to female vocalists, because I feel like that gets pigeonholed. Like the female vocalists get pigeonholed into a chunk of bigger bands that have female vocalists or female members. But I really mean this in the most positive of ways. When it comes to the vocals, they just really add such a great focal point for a catchy, melodic, and upbeat punk rock band. This album will have you coming back for more and more, and the song I chose is called Discount. Still moving on. Well, this is really hard to do by yourself, but I'm still moving on, and I hope you're keeping track. But the next band up is called The Core. Their album Fractured Protocol. You can easily insert the Core corpse jokes ever since I made that mistake on one of the early podcast episodes. Shout out to early podcast episodes. It's haunted me. But jokes aside, and my lack of knowledge of the English language aside, The Core wrote one of the best melodic punk albums in a while. It's great to see them getting recognition outside of Western Canada. I've seen this pop up a number of lists already this year. It's well deserved. I think with this kind of sound, it's hard to make it sound fresh and relevant. But on this album, The Core clearly do that. And who doesn't like the idea of a comic book themed band, even if it is Green Lantern, who is, in my eyes, pretty damn lame. And the last one in this little segment is a band called Hell Beach. They're from New Hampshire. This has been one of those surprise albums that you stumble across and end up loving. Great pop punk with power pop tendencies, pop melodies, and it's filled with all sorts of catchy tunes that want to make you sing along. Great little find for me. And the song I chose was Weekend Crush. So have a listen to these songs, and I'll be back with some more mumbling and some more music.
Come on, get in the car. Gonna take you somewhere that you don't want to go. And I don't really blame you. And if it's alright with you, I'll die. Come on, get in the car. Gonna drive you stakes away from all the people that you know and everybody that you're used to. And if it's alright with you, I'll die. And we lost ourselves as we danced to a different us apart. You kept on holding on so tight. I didn't even notice you for years. Along for the ride you've always been. So tell me where you want me, tell me how I feel, tell me what to do next. You can count on me, just tell me I'm fine, and everything will be alright. Tell me, do I want this? Tell me if I feel. Tell me, can I count on you? And everything will be alright. And these chemicals are helping us. I understand. Now please stay. I will walk right onto line. I will make it just in time. Please tell me where you want me, tell me how I feel, tell me what to do next. You can count on me, just tell me I'm fine, and everything will be alright. Tell me, do I want this? Tell me if I feel. Tell me, can I count on you? And everything will be I want a discount. I want a discount. I wanna dance, I wanna party, I wanna get down and get rowdy. I wanna guest list, I wanna plus one, I wanna be cool and get money. I want to move, to shake these blues, yeah. I wanna move, to shake these blues, yeah. I wanna love, I wanna party, I want a good friend and a buddy. I want a freebie, I want a challenge, I want a healthy banging body. I want to move, to shake these blues, yeah. I wanna move, to shake these blues, yeah. I want to move, to shake these blues. I want to move, to shake these blues. Shake these blues, yeah. Shake these blues. Shake these blues, yeah. I want to move, to shake these blues, yeah. I wanna move, to shake these blues, yeah. Shake these blues, yeah. Shake these blues, yeah. I want a discount. I want a discount.
A quirky laugh, a turn of phrase was what had caught his ear. How could he ignore this true perfection? So you offered all of your heart, he just broke it apart. You went into hiding. Days go by and still you cry. I've come to say my piece. His intellect on par with tiny mammals, but it only bruises deeper, reminding you if he were here to clear his name. Riddle me this: have you ever seen a place
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those bands and those songs, and you might consider adding them to your collection. Before I move on to the next batch of songs, I thought I'd mention some of the local bands that caught my ear this year. And this is a total cheat code for me because I get to mention them without cutting other albums from my list. And I would say all of these could be on my list anyway. So here's a quick mention and shout out to the Adavans who put out Good Problems. Love these guys. Glad to see after a little hiatus they haven't lost a step. It's for fans of pop punk and good times. No Brainer, their album Deadweight. No Brainer do a great job of fusing street punk and melodic pop punk sensibilities, harking back to the heyday of mid-90s punk rock. I mentioned them in another episode, I think the halfway through the year episode. This is a hard cut for me. Love this album. Make sure you pick it up. Class Action, That Fleeting Feeling, Calgary's longest running ska punk band, and I would say it's their best work. I don't know if they'll agree, but I think it's their best work to date. Glad to see they're still kicking around. Alex is a member in our WhatsApp group and an all-around rad dude. Make sure you check this album out if you're looking for some ska punk. Spencer Joe, the album's The Water. Folk punk from Spencer, who you may know from Quit It and the Riverjacks. Spencer's really kicked it up a notch on this album, and he doesn't hold back on this full length. Again, maybe my favorite work from a longtime local contributor. Great political message too, so check it out. And finally, the Turnarounds. This one was thanks to Nate. I had heard the name before, never checked them out. Nate told me to do it. Solid band, and I can't wait to see them live. Special shout out to a couple of singles that came out from some local bands, Toxic Femmes and their single Sick Obsession, and the Break-Ins and their single Madness. Both these bands put out great singles, are playing a lot around town, and are fairly young. Well, specifically the Break-Ins are fairly young. They're just a bunch of little kids, which is amazing. Well, maybe they're not little kids, but they're kids. That's what makes scenes thrive. Both of them are great. I look forward to hearing more. With that, let's get to the rest of my list. The first band I want to highlight is Riley and their album Keep Cool. Riley are from Texas, play music in the vein of bands like Hot Mulligan, Swiss Army Wife, Max Seal. You know that kind of sound where the singer's almost half screaming, but not in that hardcore way. It's more of a pop melodic way, almost as if the Wonder Years was a little less pop punk. I think I said it would be a sleeper hit of the year. I stand by it. To be honest, I'm shocked I haven't seen it pop up on more year-end lists. If you haven't given it a listen, make sure you do, and maybe consider adding it to your list. The song I picked was 777, which I assume is a lucky number or something. I hear that anyway. Moving on, Fiddler and their album Surviving the Dream. I feel like Fiddler's a polarizing band. I'm not entirely sure why I think that, but I always feel like I'm going to take some shots for liking them as much as I do. I've really liked this band since I first heard them way back when. On Surviving the Dream, we see a band that, while continuing down the path of surf and skate party punk, they've matured a little bit. It's a lot of reflection on mental illness and mental health issues. If you like Fiddler, I think you're going to love this album as much as I have. The song is called Fix Me. The third album in this little segment is from a band called Combat. Their album Stay Golden, and the song I picked was Good News. I'll be honest, I never heard of Combat until I came across this album, but this just rips. It's fast, energetic, and emotional. You can see the influences of bands like Origami Angel or Jeff Rosenstock, specifically the DIY punk ethos and sound, and it comes off sounding as something way more complex. As the year moved on, I felt myself going back to this album a lot, which is usually a good thing. Also, shout out to the fun sound clips. Using a Spider-Man clip is always an easy path to my heart. If you haven't heard about Combat, check them out. You won't be disappointed. The fourth song in this little batch is from a band out of Vancouver called Night Court. I don't know how they do it, but Night Court keep pumping out new music. They had one out last year, and even maybe a couple singles out after that full length. They are writing a crazy amount. This on top of the members being in other bands who are also putting out albums on a regular basis. Sometimes when a band puts out that much music, you get bored. But on their newest album, Shit Machine, I found myself craving even more of their nostalgic early 90s style indie punk rock, and so will you. And the song I picked is called Captain Cave Person. I don't think it has to do with Captain Caveman, which was a cartoon I really liked as a kid, even though it was way older than me. Not that you care. And the fifth song in this little segment is from a band called Dead Years. Dead Years are from Germany and play a gritty garage-tinged version of post-punk. Every year there's a couple of albums that I come across towards the end of the year that end up taking a spot in my heart. Night Thoughts is one of those albums. It came out on Dirt Nap, which may give you an idea of what the sound has. It's got a very 80s feel, and I've seen a lot of comparisons to the Wipers, which I can totally see, and then some comparisons to Hot Water Music, which I don't see, but maybe I'm missing something. To me, they kind of remind me of a band called Hex Dispensers, who I really like. So if that is your cup of tea, I suggest checking them out. I don't think you will be disappointed. And the song I picked was Pictures of My Death. Also, shout out to the cool album artwork on this one. That's a lot. That's a lot of music. That's a lot of me talking. I hope you enjoy some of these songs, and we'll see you in like 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know how long songs are these days.
Winner, 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 winner. I'm never gonna stop. What's another wager? I think it's in my nature. I just wanna make it to the top. When I think of you, cut me some slack. I'm holding back. When I think of you, I know it's unhealthy. I know it's bad. When I think of you, I've got an edge. I'm feeling blue. When I think of you, when I think of you. Lost another grand, I never understand why. Take another spin, guess I never really know when to quit. Always online lately, constantly debating. Save me, God, you must fucking hate me. You cut me some slack, I'm holding back. When I think of you, I know it's unhealthy, I know it's bad. When I think of you, I've got an edge, I'm feeling blue. When I think of you, when I think of you. Cut me some slack, I'm holding back. When I think of you, I know it's unhealthy, I know it's bad. When I think of you, I've got an edge, I'm feeling blue. When I think of you, when I think of you. Cause it's too hard to fix me, I know you'll try. And if you fall in love, then just give it time. Cause I'm the type of crazy that's not the cute type. No, I get high just to get by. Cause it's too hard to fix me, I know you'll try. And if you fall in love, then just give it time. Cause I'm the type of crazy that's not the cute type. No, I get high or crazy, that's not the cute type. No, I get high just to get by, 'cause it's too hard to fix me. I know you'll try, and if you fall in love, then just give it time, 'cause I'm the type of crazy that's not the cute type. No, I get high just to get by, 'cause it's too hard to fix me. I know you'll try, and if you fall in love, then just give it time, 'cause I'm the type of crazy that's not the cute type. No, I get high just to get by, 'cause it's too hard to fix me. I know you'll try, and if you fall in love, then just give it time, 'cause I'm the type of crazy that's not the cute type. 'Cause I get high or I'm gonna die.
It's an entirely different kind of flying, altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying.
I'm getting tired of acting, 'cause I'm always acting out.
picture of my death on the inside of my head. A picture of mine. A picture of my death on the inside of my head. A picture of me. A picture of my death on the inside of my head. A picture of
If you've somehow joined a quarter of the way through this episode, this is the High Fives Punk Rock Podcast year-end episode, and I'm slowly going through a bunch of albums I liked in 2024, hoping that a few of these catch your heart like they caught mine. My name's Mike, and like I said, this is the High Fives Punk Rock Podcast. Enough about me, let's keep the music rolling. Otherwise, this is going to be a two-part episode, and the fact that you're listening to this long one makes it a two-parter seem even more insane. So, the next band up is Deathlens. The album's Cold World. The song is Disturb the Peace. This is one of those albums that survived the halfway test. I'm always curious which albums will still be on top after a whole year, but Deathlens did it. They last did it. This is their first full length on Epitaph. Giant leap in songwriting and production. And while some may say this album sounds too crisp and perfect, my argument would be Cold World lands in that sweet spot where the energy enthusiasm of DIY isn't lost but perfected. Whatever it is, Cold World's a complete package, and it's an album I didn't expect to love as much as I did, especially all year long. There is a theme this year of me having bands I mentioned I was listening to on the list. I guess that means I wasn't lying and I like them. So it's probably a good thing if I mentioned it and then they made the list. Fast Blood is one of those bands, and their album, Sunny Blunts, is still blowing me away. They play fast, energetic, angry punk with hints of art punk. It's loud, aggressive in all the right ways. I feel like it's one of those bands that's on the verge of blowing up. I'm seeing more and more about them, or the algorithm's just feeding me that. But either way, Sunny Blunts, great album. And the song I picked is called Sexual Healing, which is not a cover. The third album in this little segment is from a band called Love Letter, and the album is called Everyone Wants Something Beautiful. Admittedly, I was enamored by the album right out of the gates, but then I put it aside for a while. And while I was working on this list, I went back and almost forgot how great this album is. It's hardcore and post-hardcore at its very best, emotional, angry, and powerful with intense lyrics and topics. Love Letter features members of Defeater and Verse, and it is not surprising you can hear those influences on this album, both in production and style. Not a carbon copy, and definitely something of its own, but if you're looking for something in that vein, I cannot recommend this enough. The song I chose is called Late Stage Harm Reduction, which is a mouthful, but a great song. The fourth song on this little segment comes from a band out of Victoria. This is a super late entry into the year-end list, seeing as it only came out on December 13th, but I feel strong enough that this would have easily made my list regardless of the date it came out. Coup d'etat are from Victoria, BC, as I said, and what happens after the epilogue is a throwback to the heyday of screamo and hardcore bands of the early 90s, or the 90s and early 2000s. Not that sound went away, but this album seems to capture the sound I grew up with, specifically some of the stuff in our local scene. It was loud, chaotic, and beautiful all in one. It won't be every listener's cup of tea, but if you're a fan of that sound, this should be on your radar. And the song I picked is called A Promise from the Barrel of a 357, which, if you think about it, is totally a song title from that era. Great band. Looking forward to hearing more from them. And if you're sick of me, this is the last one in this little segment. It's called from a band called Perennial, and the album is called Art History. This is one of those albums that snuck past me until about a month ago. I was a big fan of their 2022 release, In the Midnight Hour, so I was surprised this one didn't get shot at me by the algorithm. Fortunately enough, I stumbled across it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying their dancey art punk. It's shouty, punchy, and something you can shake to. Not that I ever shake it, but you get the idea, and hopefully not that mental picture. It's for fans of La Tigra, Q and Not You, the Murder City Devils, and more like that. The song I picked is called Action Painting. Just really catchy.
against apathy and callousness. Everyone needs a place to go. 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 Capsize lives, take the depths unknown. Drum circle above, while flesh and homes turn to ashes below. For once the signs remain stoic and cold. Let clouds to intervention for more resource control. Everyone needs a place to go, free to stay, free to move. Our lives intertwined while the watchers reign over capital. Everyone needs a place to go, free to stay, free to move, free to live, without fear of the watchers rule. Everyone needs a place to go. Everyone needs a place to go. Everyone needs a place to go.
As we hum along to its swan song with our eyes closed.
There's a kind of comfort to the taste of metal in my mouth. Iron coats my tongue as my teeth pierce my cheek. The pounding drum of my heart in my ears marks the seconds as I fall to my knees. The lights spin and I see you laughing. It's a quieter death than the one you promised me. No crashing waves, no grasp for breath, just one quick sneeze and I'm falling, ready to drown.
Will you meet me at the bottom? Or are you still laughing? Well, my head's below the water, and you're watching me drown. Drown! 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 Drown!
Hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those tracks. I always forget how hard this episode is to do by yourself. I hope I'm not annoying you too much, and I hope it's not information overload, and you still want to keep listening. It got a little noisy there for a bit. That's a good thing, right? But before we get into some more tracks, I wanted to bring up a few compilations that I really dug this year. 3 of them really caught my ear. The first being the Red Scare comp. Red Scare has consistently put out great bands and albums, and this comp was an ode to 20 years of doing it. A bunch of unreleased tracks from albums and bands from the Red Scare catalog. I think some that are just affiliated with Red Scare. Totally great, worth picking up, and I think it's hard to do a compilation in the days of streaming. So for it to stand out is a big deal. I think it says a lot about the label and the quality of bands they put out. The next was the American Football tribute album. This one's a little more indie rock than punk. I guess that tracks if you're a fan of American football. It's maybe sort of tiptoes in both worlds. Great cover songs. Again, one of the beauties of doing a good tribute album is when you can do your own thing and make it your own. Standout for me was Ethel Cain doing For Sure. It's hauntingly beautiful and must listen. And last one, similar to the American Football tribute album, was Refuse Shape of Punk to Come tribute album. Justin and me spoke about it a little in the last episode, so maybe go back and listen to that. It's been a great listen. There's some cool versions of some classic tracks on that one. And on that note, I'd like to welcome Justin to the show to relieve some of my pressure here. So here's Justin. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me on the year-end wrap-up.
Yeah, it's actually not your first time being on the wrap-up. You did one other one before, like a quick bit.
Yeah, but I think I just sent you like a text.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a voice file. What do they call those?
I don't know. So, a voice file? Yeah, I guess it's called a memo.
Well, something on your machine. I'm assuming you got the tape.
It's not the first time you left something on my answer machine. That's an inside joke that no one else is going to get.
I hope not.
Yeah. Thanks again for doing this. I know you had a little bit of a cold, so we're just rushing this in at the end of the year here. So before we get into your album pick for this episode, what are some of the things that were great about this year? Anything in your life that was like pretty good, music-wise, pop culture-wise, or social normal-wise? I don't care. The floor is yours.
No, I think this year was pretty dismal. When I think about things like the election down in the States, and I don't know, maybe that's just casting like an overly dark shadow on things for 2025. But
it's probably because you joined this podcast. That feels pretty bleak, eh? Once you start doing a podcast, you're like, wow, my life's really gone places.
Well, we'll see how the podcast goes next year. I feel like maybe there's an untapped audience out there that we're gonna try to reach. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean either.
I think maybe in keeping to the podcast, like musically, I thought it was a great year. There were so many good things that came out. I haven't even got my top 5 because there's so many great releases that I'm sure most of which will come up in the podcast or in your year-end wrap-up. But it's been such a great year for music, so lots of good things to listen to, and certainly no shortage of good releases. So it's been great for that. Yeah,
like I've touched on it through this episode a little bit, and it's kind of crazy how much comes out nowadays and how much we have access to, that it kind of it makes it hard to like narrow down. Like, and then we had kind of discussed this a little bit in the podcast over the years. It's just like it's harder and harder to focus on an album because you have so much access to everything that it's you can't just be like, well, I listened to this CD like 100 times, so that's what I liked. But you're like, well, this came out, and next week like 12 other albums are coming out, and I can do it all. So you don't like pay the same attention to the one album. That's why I don't really like to rank personally for myself. Like, it just doesn't feel like you can rank anymore because there are so many good albums, and it's like I don't necessarily sure you spend so much time with one or 5 or whatever albums.
Well, I also feel like just in the release schedule, like, you know, the sort of singles or a couple tracks get pushed out, and then that sort of becomes an EP, and then the EP becomes a full length. But by then it's been 4 months, and you've listened to those first 3 tracks a number of times. You sort of forget about the full length altogether.
That's a really good point.
That kind of like creeps up on you. You're like, oh man, they put out a whole album. I love those last 3 songs, or you just forget about it entirely, and you don't even realize that there's a whole album waiting because you've just moved on to the next, thing that came out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Is there any albums you're looking forward to in the next year that you know that are coming out, and you're just like, oh, or shows that you're looking forward to going to see?
I think I've got a couple bucket list shows that I'm just hoping will happen. They're not announced or tours or anything like that. But I think high on my list is I definitely want to go see Spanish Love Songs in a headlining capacity at some point next year. And I'd like to see Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties, who did put out an album in 2024, at some point as well, if that is possible. So they're playing shows right now, and the weirdest thing is that Dan Campbell, who is the lead singer of Aaron West and the Wonder Years, he is opening for Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties.
So it's Dan Campbell solo, then Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties, and then Wonder Years, or just
not the Wonder Years. Yeah, but it's just weird to have yourself open up for your own band.
That is very weird, even though it's a concept, but it's still like it's very him, right? Like his solo stuff doesn't sound that different than Aaron West.
No, like his voice is so distinct that yeah. But yeah, I'd like to. Those are sort of my two like to see shows for next year.
Nice. Okay, well, let's get into the album you picked then.
Yeah, so this, Mike, I'm going to put this out there. This might be an album that you haven't heard of. It's a possibility because this one came across randomly on Spotify. It's not a major release. As a matter of fact, it's a self-release by a guy named N. Patrick File, who's from Ohio.
This sounds made up.
No, this is all legit according to a couple bios that I came across. The band is Seymour Glass, but it really is Mr. Patrick himself, along with his partner and a few local musicians. It's the second full-length release from him. The album is called The Things in Life That I Can't Leave Behind. It came out sometime in the middle of October of this year. And like I said, self-released. I think it was all recorded in one day. It was himself and a few local musicians and other people that he's played with from the Ohio area. I don't even know where in Ohio. Columbus, Cleveland,
Akron,
Cincinnati. I don't know.
No clue.
So he's a I think he's a high school teacher, an English teacher. Quite like anarchist-ish, like left-leaning, anti-fascist, that sort of thing. It's not overly evident in the music, although when you start pulling apart the lyrics, it becomes more evident. But yeah, it's he describes it as a non-touring DIY effort. And in his words, to create authentic art without the pressures of capitalism. So this is it. He's just put out the record, and there's no touring. I don't think he even has a website or any way to buy the album. Even on Bandcamp, he gives all profits to an organization that helps support trans rights and awareness. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So this is like, I am quite confident that if nobody listened to this, he would be just as happy as, if it had millions of listens on Spotify. Like, this is something that he does just for, like, I think truly for himself, as an expression of art. The sound is, unsurprisingly, sort of like Midwest emo-ish. It reminds me, it's got some like really neat pop, like pop punk kind of vibes to it, but in a weird way, like a little bit like Brand New, but not in a weird way. Parts of it remind me of
Dicey to bring
Club.
That up.
I said not in a weird way.
Okay.
Yeah, it reminds me of Polar Bear Club or Cali Massey, even a little bit of like Hot Mulligan in there. I think it's maybe because he's got like one of those voices that's quite unique and just sort of like lays it all out there in the studio. So yeah, I came across this album and really liked it. It's been on a pretty consistent play for me for the last 3 months.
Awesome. 100% have never heard about this before. So kudos to you for bringing something new to the party. I'm looking forward to listening to it. Sounds all awesome. Do you have a song that you wanted to play?
I do, yeah. There's quite a few good ones on this. I'm going to go with the lead-off track. It's called Deliverance.
Deliverance, eh? Sounds religious.
or the opposite, based on my very basic understanding of what that movie is.
Okay. Thanks, Justin, for doing this. Happy New Year. And I look forward to doing more episodes in 2025 with you. This is me scamming you into committing to next year on camera.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Thanks again. And Justin, do you want to just give us that artist and track and album name again? And then I can let you go back to bed.
Absolutely. Hope everyone had a great 2024 and looking forward to awesome things in 2025. Look forward to being back on the podcast. One of my top albums of the year is The Things in Life That I Can't Leave Behind. The artist is Seymour Glass, and the song I went with is Deliverance.
I'll never forget the first day I walked out on my own. I went up to 14th Street, and the sun was coming down beautifully. There was never any such sunshine in Ireland, such heat. The first thought that ran through my head was, with a climate like this, how on earth could anybody die? I walked up to 42nd Street and Broadway, Times Square, and 'twas at night. And when I saw all of those lights, those neon signs, and the sparkle and the brilliance, I thought to myself, my goodness, what a waste of electricity.
I grew up watching planes fly people into buildings, creating a divide too impossible to mend. Do we try to find a way to stop the violence from repeating, or stop the funeral bells from chiming for the dead? I had a lot of friends fight wars in other countries. You saw a lot of things they could never talk about. And when they left, I heard them say, this is something I believe in. But I wonder if they'd say the same thing now, or if they'd wanna start a revolution in the margins. Wanna start a revolution in the streets, in the streets. Start a revolution in the margins. Well, maybe there'll be something left to believe in. It's hard to tell if knowledge is a privilege or a burden. It's hard to tell if freedom means anything at all. Where we're still left to breathe through all the cyclical and binary restrictions posted on the classroom walls. I always feel like I am drowning in pools of information. So many little details I can seem to keep from sorted. Where they said follow your dreams and let us do a cul-de-sac hypocrisy, where everyone's convinced themselves that they've done nothing wrong. Oh, it makes you kinda wanna start a revolution in the margins. We'll start a revolution in the streets, and the streets. Start a revolution in the margins. Well, maybe there'll be something left. I was taught never to take what I don't need, always pay back the debts I owe. We've all got the responsibility of pulling up our bootstraps till we're old. They tell me to believe what I don't see and worship all these idols made of gold. Let God take the responsibility of pulling up the bootstraps till they're old. I've always thought you take See everything around me expanding and collapsing, while everything inside me collapses and implodes.
Great stuff there, Justin. Thanks for coming on the show. Like I said, very cool to hear something that didn't hit my radar this year. Great track, great album. I will be checking out more. One TV show that caught my attention this year was a show called This Town, which was a BBC show done by the people that did Peaky Blinders. It focuses on the early 80s in Birmingham and Coventry, which also happens to coincide with the two-tone ska movement and the whole music scene there. So there was a lot of elements of that in the show, and chunks of the storyline were part of that. This led to me discovering a love for two-tone ska again, and that took up a large chunk of my listening for a few months. I also ended up reading Horace Panter's biography of his time in the Specials, which also influenced a lot of listening for a bit there. So I probably could have put a list together of ska and two-tone and reggae and rocksteady and roots stuff that I discovered just because of that show and that book. That being said, that's not what this podcast is about. But I did have two albums on my list that kind of work with that theme. They aren't from that era, but definitely hearken to that sort of sound, I guess, in a way. And as longtime listener Joel always says, each list needs some ska. So here we go. First up, Calmatics and their self-titled album. I've talked about this before on the podcast, but as soon as I heard their single that Hellcat released, I knew this is going to be a band I was into. It is the perfect summer soundtrack or sunny day soundtrack, driving in your car or relaxing or having patio beers with your buds, even if it didn't come out in the summer. But that's my own little quirk with that thing. It's great vocals, a blend of ska and reggae, dancehall, and punk, steeped in Tim Armstrong's production style. I think it's hard to not listen to this album and instantly feel better and be put in a good mood. Something funny I read is that I guess the singer was going through some rough stuff while writing this album. I don't catch it in the lyrics or anything, but she said it was cathartic and kind of puts a different spin on a great album. Song I picked was called Root Style. I dare you not to have that stuck in your head after hearing it. Sticking with the Hellcat theme, another album I've been waiting for and mentioned on the podcast is Rat Boy's latest album, and it definitely hit all the right spots, finally capturing all the good bits and pieces of their previous releases and solidifying my interest in this band and artist. It checked off so many boxes, and you can see how it fits in the Hellcat catalog. There seems to be a lot of Clash worship on this release too. Clash worship is a very hard word to say together for me. I highly recommend checking out. Like I said, production's perfect. Reminds me a little bit of Tim Armstrong's first solo project album. The album is called Suburbia Calling. The band is Rat Boy, and the song is Bad Man. So give these two a listen, and we'll be back with some more.
Life is so bittersweet, so we gotta
music is my religion. Always singing, always bringing, always living, always giving. Radio, stereo, electronic, here we go. Sound hitting, love bitten, I'm getting love living. Rose wrote, love note, brought my red coat. Sing rhymes, good times, sad lines, all mine. Sing rhymes, good times, sad lines, all mine. Rooftop, baby, won't you please come along? Let's get together, the time is right, not wrong. Life is so bittersweet, so we gotta keep moving on. Rooftop, baby, won't you please come along? Yeah, we gotta keep it going. Yeah, we gotta keep it going. Yeah, we gotta keep it going. It's the best sound that's around. No, we won't stop until we get there. No, we won't stop until we get there. No, we won't stop until we get there. And we're gonna take the town. We're gonna take that town. Big sound all around, night come, run town. Cat's side, don't lie, don't cry, testify. Take a drink, make me think, loose lips, ship sink. Mystify, get inside, reggae, and I lose my mind. Outside, inside, I'll take it anytime. Smoke it up in the sun, music calls, I gotta run. Sing rhymes, good times, sad lines, all mine. Sing rhymes, good times, sad lines, all mine. Rooftop, baby, won't you please come along? Let's get together, the time is right, not wrong. Life is so bittersweet, so we gotta keep moving on. Rooftop, baby, won't you please come along? Yeah, we gotta keep it going. Yeah, we gotta keep it going. Yeah, we gotta keep it going. It's the best sound
you must pay. Every man has his day. With dirty money comes pain. Here comes another. I heard the news on the radio. Bad guns and bad men, 6 feet underground. Here comes another. The world ain't yours, mate. Just let it go. All is fair in drugs and more. All is fair in drugs and more.
Hi, and welcome back to the High Fives podcast. I got a special guest that I brought on just for this little segment. It's Nate. He's back for a little quick hit here. How's it going, Nate?
Good. You go away for a year and then you're a guest?
Well,
a guest?
You know,
just like any other Tom, Dick, or Harry that shows up on this show.
But you're a guest that knows not to kick the desk the whole time or tap or drum, right?
Yes, I am a guest. A better guest.
I didn't say better. I said a guest who knows.
A guest who knows. Okay. The more you know.
The more you know, yes.
Yeah. Excellent.
Nate,
well, hi, Mike.
How have you been?
I've been good, Mike. Been very busy, doing lots of very important things.
Would you like to tell us about some of those things, or is it all secret still?
Yeah, it's very secret, Mike. It's not so much that I don't want to. It's the NDAs that I've signed. And, you get close to Christmas, you don't really gamble with those, right? Like there's a lot of money attached to those. So I'm going to plead the fifth, which I realize we don't have in Canada, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to plead the fifth.
Do you think a lot of people know that we don't have the fifth in Canada? I think a lot of people don't know that.
Well, that was my subtle, my passive aggressive way of letting people know. And thanks for joining in. So now they don't know, and there's your CanCon for this episode.
Perfect. That's all that matters.
Brought to you by Nate the guest.
We don't have the fifth, so you have to tell us what you think. No. Okay, well, Nate's not going to tell us about what's going on, but
no,
because he doesn't want to end up in jail.
That's right.
Allegedly.
No jail. Allegedly.
But what he is going to tell us about is about some stuff that he's been listening to for this year. Specifically, what is one of his top albums of the year?
Yeah, Mike said, I'm going to do 100 and you're going to do 1. And I thought,
but you're a guest. You're a guest now. You've got no control.
Just a guest, right?
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, I wonder why he wants this. And then I thought, oh, probably because he knows I'll pick one that he really wanted. And then he's just going to audible it and pull it off.
Oh my God, you know me
list.
so well.
A little too well. That's what 10 years will do, Mike.
It's true. It's true.
So, I mean, you know what? I have a lot of albums written down, Mike, like a lot. And I do have 2 in mind. More specifically, I do have 1, like you asked me to. But you know what I kind of felt like this year is I felt like I was introduced to a lot of new music. And maybe it's because I'm not getting it out, every month. I'm not talking about it every month. But I really felt like, wow, there is a lot of stuff that either you turned me on to or, now that I'm going through a lot of the year-end lists, most specifically today, I've been listening to the Spotify playlist brought to us by the Punk Rock Vinyls handle. I don't know, guy, person. Shout out Punk Rock Vinyls.
No shout outs.
There's so many on there that I was like, wow, never once heard of this band.
I think I'm sorry to interrupt. I think I texted you about this. It's so freaking insane that, okay, this is not to say that I'm great at something, but I fucking listen to a lot of music.
You do.
And I read a lot about it, and I might not know everything, but I've seen pictures of albums and stuff. And when I see a lot of these year-end lists, I'm like, where the hell did this come from? This didn't even blip on my radar, and somehow it's on like 3 lists. Like it's crazy, which is
Yeah.
which is the reason I like doing this episode and stuff, is because I'm just like, I hope there's somebody else, like some other version of me out there that's like, well, I didn't know about that. I should check that out. So
Like an alternate reality? Is that like a simulation, maybe, Mike? Is that
no,
what you're
just
talking
like
about?
Ontario version of me.
Ontario Mike. I hope I never meet Ontario
I feel
Mike.
like Ontario Mike is not a cool guy.
I feel like Ontario Mike was the guy that was going on the rant about beers and how many beers he could handle in a day.
5. Fuck, I love that guy.
Do you?
Wow, that clip is gold.
It is. I mean, yeah. We'll leave it at that. So anyways, lots of new stuff this year. Lots of stuff that I wasn't I just didn't expect the volume to be checking out this many albums kind of late in the year, or at the end of the year, I should say. Some of the new artists. This isn't my one. I'm just going to shout out a couple new artists.
Well, Nate, I was going to tell you can do this anyways. You can mention a bunch of things.
Okay.
But you don't have to I was only going to let you go in depth about one.
About one, yeah. And I won't even go that in depth about it.
Good.
Yeah, it'll be pretty non in depth. But some of the ones that really grabbed me, Tooth Gore was one that just popped up out of nowhere. I'm interested to hear more from them. Like Roses, I really got into their EP. Tusky was another one that just never heard of that band. Fluffy Machine. Did you hear about Fluffy Machine, Mike?
I didn't hear about Fluffy Machine.
Okay. Clang was the album they put out this year. And a really good album. Shoreline, Max Seal, just a ton of bands. Hammer Bombs. That was one I think you had in your last episode or episode before.
Love the Hammer Bombs.
Yeah, really dig that album. Really good. F for Effort. I'm sure it's on your list. I'm not going to try and dig at your list anymore. I will just move on. But there's also a bunch of bands that kind of caught my ear, or bands that seemed like maybe they've got something in the works for next year. So St. Plaster was one of those bands. They had put out an album, I think, in 2019. I really liked that album. So that's 5 years ago now. And it was just kind of a one-off. And I thought, okay, well, we'll never hear from these guys again. And then they put out 3 new singles this year. And I think they were they were very specific. It seemed like this was their response to the new government that the United States welcomed just a few months ago. But I hope that they're doing some stuff. The new one from Direct Hit was a big surprise, so I'm hoping
that one came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no talk, no nothing. Is it on Fat? I don't even think it's on Fat.
I think it just was came out. They didn't see anything from Fat pushing it. I kind of hope they're not on Fat. I feel like I like that their albums were on Fat. It was good for them, but I also feel like they're a band that might be pushed more if they're not on, where they're allowed to just do what they want to do. Not that Fat is a controlling label, but
yeah. So I'm hoping they have something new coming this year. There's a band called Haters from Australia. Shout out Australia. They have 4 singles over the last year and a half, so I'm hoping they've got more to come. Secret World. Do you like that EP?
I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Guilt is good. They have kind of that drug church sound. Anyways, hoping that an EP is just a bit of what's to come. Just lots of cool stuff that came out this year that wasn't necessarily albums, but lots of singles and EPs as well. The 2 that really stood out for me, and I have a long list of ones that grabbed my attention this year, but the 2 that really stood out for me, the 2 that I went back to, and I feel like I don't go back enough. Even an album that I really like, maybe I listen to that 2, maybe 3 times in the span of a year, because there's just so much new every week, right?
So that's exactly what I think is a major problem for me these days. Is there's an album I love, and there's so much stuff I love. Really, there's just every year there's just more and more music, and we can consume so much of it. The problem is going back to it. So you're you could love an album for a week, but I find it's very rare that you end up going back 3 months later and being oh, I want to listen to that again, because it's there's so much out this next week, and you're I got to listen to all that stuff going on.
Totally.
So that's maybe one of the major downfalls of the mass consumption of music is it's hard to go back.
Well, and I also felt like, or I also noticed this in kind of just the last actually couple of weeks as I've been like going through some of these lists or playlists. So more specifically, the Punk Rock Vinyls 2004 playlist. What they've done is it looks like they've selected every album of the year and then chose a single song from it. And it's like 14 hours and 25 minutes for 2024. And so I'm going through this playlist and there are bands that I clearly know I've listened to that entire album, but didn't pick that song for whatever reason. And then I'm listening to that song and it grabs me right away. And so I think like streaming is totally like changing the way in which I listen to music. Like I don't have the patience or the time, or it all starts to sound the same. Like I don't know specifically what it is.
That's the shittiest thing about streaming. It is legitimately the shittiest thing is that like, it's not that bands suck. It's not that like the access to it's awesome. I mean, the shittiest thing is that bands don't get paid. Sorry. Second shittiest thing is that like, yeah, this consumption is ruined how we look at music. And I'll agree. Sometimes you're like, you don't give an album more than on like 10, if there's 10 songs, 10 quick clicks. And you're like, oh, that song grabbed me right away. So, and then in another mood, you might like see something on a playlist and be like, oh, I didn't even know that was on that album. Or you like forgot that I was on that album. You're like, oh, this is a really good song. Or this album's not as good as I remember it because this song's not as good as the intro track that I loved.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that really frustrates me because I think like, how do you correct that? You know, do you like, I'm not going to stop streaming, you know,
I've been trying to figure that out. Like, honestly, Nate, I know you used to make fun of me, the reorganizing of my iTunes always.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
And it's just like a constant way of trying to figure out how to consume music by adapting, but also not ruining what I loved about consuming.
Totally.
So, and I've yet to figure it out. If someone has like a great, like, theory on how to do it, I'm all ears. If you're like, this is what you should be doing. Like I've tried being like, okay, well, I'm going to put everything in a 2024 playlist and only listen to those albums. Or like, I've tried being like, make a mix every week of stuff. It's just, I have yet to come out with something that captures what it used to be like to go to a record store on Friday, pick up a new release, and then be stuck with that release, whether you liked it or not.
Totally.
And then being like, well, I'll listen to it like 15 times until I can afford to buy a new CD.
And have to defend it too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you bought that? Yeah, I really like it. So fuck off.
You're just defending it to me. This is our conversations.
But there are two albums that I revisited many times throughout the year. Those two albums, and I'm sure they're on your list, the Dopamines 80/20, which just kind of really blew my socks off. Like I was really digging the singles one after another. I was just like kind of floored because I've been a fan of the Dopamines, but like not a band that I listen a ton to, you know, a band that I'll listen to when they come up, or they've got a bunch of songs on my liked playlist, but you know, not like a top tier band for me. And this album just, I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere. Like the singles were great, but the album really lived up to the singles. Like it is so good start to finish.
Yeah, can't agree more.
Yeah. And a top five, it would be on my top five. I know I'm only allowed one. I'm talking about two.
You
but
do
it'd be
you.
on the top five. The one that I brought to the table so that you can play a song, so that you can take a little pee break or whatever it is you do while you play the songs, is an album I was waiting for far too long. It seemed like it was never going to come out. And then they started releasing live tracks. And I'm like, is this the album? Live tracks? You can do a live album after your first album, and that's the album? And so I was kind of bummed about that. So when it actually dropped, I was super pumped. The album is Stay Nervous. The band is Bad Nerves. I really thought this band was like going to catch absolute fire. And I think, you know, certainly they're much more known. They've been on some bigger tours this year. I think they toured a bit with Green Day. They toured with the Hives. They've been to North America a couple of times. But I really thought they were going to like explode in a significant way this year. And I don't think that that's necessarily happened yet. And I don't know why, because I really love this band. I think that they have like mass appeal. And the song that I chose is Antidote. And the reason I chose that song is because I don't think I've heard a song like that, like ever. It has got to be one of the fastest songs I've ever heard. I think I listened to him, Bobby, talk about it on a podcast or an interview somewhere, and he was like, the drums are almost impossible to play because they're so fast.
Love this album. I agree with you. I'm actually kind of shocked that they didn't go a little bit more mainstream. I see them being like in that White Reaper kind of world, where like they'll cross over into the rock world that outside of punk and stuff like that. So I don't see them, or like Franz Ferdinand or something like. I think we're headed into that that stuff being cool again.
Right.
So I won't be shocked if this stuff like ends up in soundtracks or something and then blows up. Like
I think
a year out or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I was expecting it to be like to have more of like a rock kind of vibe to it. And I think they definitely leaned more into the garage kind of sound.
For sure.
Which
love
I'm
it.
super pumped on.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Really good. So big shout out to Bad Nerves, shout out Dopamines, and the song Bad Nerves, Still Nervous, the song is Antidote from the album Still Nervous by Bad Nerves.
Well, Nate, thank you for coming on and talking. I just got a couple quick things I wanted to ask you.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're into the questions now, right? Like I've noticed that on the podcast. You seem to like just come out of left field with questions for Justin.
It makes things more fun.
It spices it up, right?
I gotta dig it out of him a little bit.
Yeah,
but my questions are not like, it's not the same thing as the getting to know Justin thing. Also, I think people should get to know Justin because Justin's an amazing dude. People already know you. And you're not that amazing. No, this is just some quick year-end questions for you.
All right, year-end. Let's see.
Nate, what were a couple TV shows or movies that you really dug this year?
Oh, man.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Just don't have to think about it too much. Just a quick.
Okay, I won't think about it too much. I watch
you have good
lot
taste.
of TV.
I know,
I
you
watch
got good
a lot
taste.
Of movies. I really liked Heretic. I don't know if you saw that. That was the new Hugh Grant movie.
Oh, I want to see that. I really like that. What's Sophie Thatcher, and that cover she did of Knocking on Heaven's Door was like phenomenal for that movie.
It was very much like Something in the Way for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they use it a lot in it.
Well, you know, not so much that they used it a lot, but it had that vibe, right? Like that.
Cool.
Can you make this song darker and grittier? And they did. Like, you know, in The Batman, they had that Nirvana song. I think it was Something in the Way, right?
It's Something in the Way, yeah.
Yeah, same kind of thing where they just like made it really like off-putting, but like such a cool version of it.
She seems like a rad person.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. So Heretic, I mean, that's the movie that comes to mind.
Is it Heretic
really
or Heretic?
I'm going to go with what I'm calling it because
don't trust me.
Wrong.
Yeah, I'm very
you're
wrong.
Still learning, right? Like English
isn't my
second
first
language.
Maybe.
You know, ESL. You're an ESL guy, Mike. TV shows. You know what? I really like, oh man, and I'm going to forget what it's called. So it's like, how can you possibly like that if you don't know what it's called? But it's the one with Harrison Ford and Jason
Shrinking.
Segel, Shrinking. I love
Phenomenal
that show
man.
so much. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. So
also great soundtrack during that show. Great answer, Nate. You sort of touched on this. Are there any albums you're looking forward to that are coming up in the next year?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if these are actual albums that are in the works or coming out, but I think like Haters is definitely one of those ones that I'll be watching for. More from Secret World, the Ammonoids. I think that's how you say it. I won't ask you. They put out 2 singles this year, and I really like both of their singles. So I'm hoping that they've got something new in the works. And yeah, like I say, back to Direct Hit and maybe St. Plaster as well.
Nice. And last, Nate, do you have anything to say to the High Fives listeners? Because you're not on that often. Hopefully, you make a couple more appearances throughout the year. I'm going to bug you a little bit more to come on every once in a while.
You just never know, right? You just never know.
But do you have anything you want to say about the new year?
You know what? I don't. I think the biggest thing is I thought I would feel less connected to like this community that we have in the high fives and in the chat. And I think that, just taking that step away, I did worry about, having that, I guess, less connection or just feeling a little bit more distant from it. But I definitely did not this year. I enjoyed not editing every month. That was a big high for me. But even more so, I still feel like nothing's changed really, other than the fact that I'm not producing these with you, which is a loss. But with the rest of the community,
Doesn't feel like it to you. You just made it sound like you don't really care. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Any moment to take it to self-deprecation, hey, Mike?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy, just the conversations and the jokes, and I'm just blown away that there are just people from all different parts of the world that are part of the listeners and part of the people that contribute and the people that we have conversations with, and I'm just really grateful for it. So yeah, let's keep this going as long as we can.
Awesome. Thanks, Nate. Thank you so much for doing this. Once again, Nate's pick was Bad Nerves, and the song was
Antidote.
Like Nate, I also had Bad Nerves on my list. I don't want to talk too much more about it. Great album, great band. I see huge things from them. I mentioned on the last episode of the podcast how much I was enjoying this particular album. The band is the OK Monics. The album is After Party Fever. It's the kind of album that makes you want to have a good time. It's bubblegum garage pop punk that could soundtrack any good party. Kind of makes you feel like dancing. For some reason, it kind of reminds me of the old Spider-Man 60s cartoon when they're dancing in those weird mod kind of scenes. I'm not sure why. But that's the mental image I get every time I listen to this album. Great album. Song is called I'll Let You In. Over the past few years, I found myself incorporating a lot more post-punk into my collection. One of those bands is Chain Cult, and they hail from Greece, and it might be one of the cooler bands that I've discovered on this journey. They blend an energy of punk and dark goth, and it works so perfectly on harm reduction. Gritty vocals give a great edge to a sound that is both emotional and gothy, but also very punk rock. Always a sucker for politically tinged lyrics. It's 8 songs you could imagine being heard in the dingiest of dive bars or basement shows, but also wouldn't shock you to hear on a giant festival stage, if that makes sense. The song is called Ending Things. Up next is a band from Philadelphia called Carly Cosgrove, which apparently is an ode to an old kids show on Nickelodeon or Disney. I'm not sure. I didn't know about it, but I thought it was a weird name, and I did find that out doing some research, but I should have wrote down those notes. This is a follow-up to their 2022 release. This album delivers the kind of scrappy, melodic, emo punk that you've been accustomed to, similarities to bands like Modern Baseball, Hot Mulligan, and while the sound is starting to get redundant for me, Carly Cosgrove feels fresh, and I think some of it might be the lyrical contract. Lyrically, the album deals with depression and anxiety, and it's kind of heavy, but it comes off in a way that doesn't drag you down into that pit. The album is called The Cleanest of Houses Are Empty, and the song is called What Are You, a Cop?
Bye.
thanks for sticking with me through this all. I hope you're finding some stuff you might have considered adding to your collection. We're getting closer and closer to the end. I got a bunch more for you, but we're getting there, I promise. I lost count. Hopefully you haven't. Probably why you should write down this kind of stuff instead of just jotting notes and then scrambling to form sentences and words together. I'll never be a professional podcaster. You don't want to hear me talk about that. I probably should just spin some more music for you and get going on. Or we could be here all night. That's the kind of party I am. First up in this batch is an album I am just in love with. The band is Soft Kill. The album is Escape Forever. Man, I just love this album. I've dabbled in other Soft Kill releases, but holy does Escape Forever rule. Right out of the gates, you're hit with this awesome sample leading into the first track, and it doesn't stop from there. As I'm sitting here thinking, it's kind of funny, I can't describe the album to you all that well. But again, much like I talked about in the Make War one, it's an album that flows front to back. Just a great masterpiece in that regard. It feels like kind of like a mixtape you got from someone special, trying to make you fall in love with the band or them. And for music nerds like me, that should be enough. And hopefully that gives you a reason to give it a chance. The song I picked is I Wish You'd Go, but I'm also going to start it with the intro, which is called Cousin. The next band is very different from Soft Kill, but if everything was the same, this would be very boring, if it's not too boring already. The band is Touche Amore. It's one of those bands that really struck a chord over me for the last little while. I was admittedly late to the party on this band, but now that I'm all in. There's something about this band that just hits so hard on an emotional level. A lot of bands in this genre do this, but for some reason, they just hit in a way that's a little bit more impactful. Maybe it's the lyrics, maybe it's the musical blend of hardcore and melody, maybe it's even the indie rock catchiness that they do so well. It hits hard. Spiral and A State Line was no different than their previous albums in that regard, and it has really stuck with me. It's a great masterpiece. There's some just all around great album. The song I picked is called This Routine. The third song in this batch is the debut self-titled album from Closers. It came out at the end of August, and it is blown me away. Closers features members of War Baby, Invasive, the Hanson Brothers, and Jewel. I'm not sure who was in the Hanson Brothers. That's pretty interesting. I'll have to ask. Full disclosure, I have known John for a long time. He's been in bands in our city and a friend of mine for a long time, but has long since moved to Vancouver and to Toronto now. But this has got John's fingerprints all over it. You can see elements of all his projects. There's grunge, indie rock, punk, hardcore. None of it feels forced or copycat or put together in a cheesy way. It works so well. I'm going to guess this album might have flown under the radar of a lot of our listeners. Don't miss the boat on Closers. The song I chose is You Read My Mind, which is maybe one of the softer ones on the album, but it's still rad. On the podcast, over the few years, we've talked a lot about Todd Farrell Jr., and I believe I mentioned in the halfway episode, this album seemed to pop up out of nowhere, which is maybe the way he likes to operate. He's just a guy who puts out a steady output via different vehicles and different bands. If you're a fan of his work in bands like Benchmark or Ghost Town Remedy, or if you haven't heard any of the solo work, you've been missing out. Great folky alt singer-songwriter stuff. If you're a fan of Seth Anderson, John Moreland, Sammy Kaye, or John K. Sampson, you should give this a listen. He definitely can hold a candle to these guys, especially with his storytelling. The album is called Might As Well Be Ghost. The song is called Na Americana. Yeah, so that's the end of this little batch here. Give them all a listen. I'll be back with some more rambling, because you guys all love the rambling, right? That's what you're here for, to hear me ramble.
Now let's take a ride back to the other side.
Oh yeah. say goodnight at different times. You're on your way to a new day, while I'm far behind. Morning dread and a second coffee. I chose to live this way. There's no excuse for feeling sorry. There's no excuse, so I complain. I'm bad at taking photos of the people I love the most.
tat. And I'm not Americana enough or a train beat on open hi-hats. And I'm not heavy metal enough for the true cold scene. And I'm not country enough, and I'm not really sure what that means. Well, I like Hank and Iron Maiden, Counting Crows and Suffocation. Is that okay with you? Stevie Ray Vaughan, Drake and Slayer, they're all on my record player. Does that make me less cool? Did I go too far? Did I say something wrong? We walk out of this bar before I finish this song. But if this makes you move and it makes you feel good, and that's just rock and roll doing what it should. I am not hardcore enough to wear gym shorts to hardcore shows. But don't you dare think that I didn't do my time bleeding in the front row. And I'm not well adjusted enough for this culture game. And I'm not well dressed enough to be on this stage. Taylor Swift and then Tom Waits, Katy Perry at the gates. Is anyone still here? You're hanging tough and hanging stubborn and moving right back to the suburbs in just a few more years. Did I go too far? Did I say something wrong? We walk out of this bar before I finish this song. But if this makes you move and it makes you feel good, that's just rock and roll doing what it should. Did I go too far? Did I say something wrong? If you say it one more time, would you sing along? If this makes you move, it makes you feel good, and that's just rock and roll doing what it should.
I had to do a little stretch there to prepare myself for this last little leg of bands. We're getting to the end here, I promise. I don't even have any sort of lame banter anymore. I'm just going to go right into the music. First album on this set, The Dopamines, their album 80/20. What an album. I just love The Dopamines, but to be honest, I had no idea what to expect after such a long hiatus. But they came out with what I'd argue is their best release to date. What a fucking ripper of a punk album. It's a must pick up for any fan of pop punk or punk rock. Dopamines have been at it for a while, and this one shows why they're one of the top of this game. Song I picked is called John Goes to Camp. Another later addition to this list was another great pop punk album. If you missed the heydays of bands like Dear Landlord, Weekend Dads, and any band that would have been on the Larry Livermore compilations, then Hammerbomb's F is for Effort is an album you've got to pick up. And I kind of sounded like I was in some sort of infomercial there, but that was not intended. Great album. It's one I keep listening to more and more. I know Nate mentioned he's also into this now. The song I picked is called Dance With Me. The third one in this set is The Mean Jeans, or just Mean Jeans. Their album Blasted. Few bands do Ramones core pop punk as well as Mean Jeans, and this is just another feather in the cap of this little crew. Even with the amped up production, you don't feel this band has strayed far from their roots. This one's a little bit less about party life, but you still get the feeling that Mean Jeans are having fun doing this. Song I picked is called Look What Punk's Done to You. The fourth one in this spot is the Shivies and their album Punk Boys. Sometimes you just want a great pop punk album. Punk Boys is that album. Hailing from the Netherlands, the Shivies play the kind of bubblegum Ramones core pop punk that fans of bands like Screeching Weasel won't cringe at. Catchy hooks and harmonies flow throughout this album, and we'll have you bopping along in no time. The song I picked is called Graveyard. Recommend checking these guys out. The last two this album and the previous one, are excellent. Go have a little bop to these ones, and we'll be back with the last pick. I think it's the last pick.
Yeah, man, I gotta admit I was nervous. I didn't really know what to expect. It's certainly blind leading blind in this room full of mice. In fact, I think a couple were high. Into the room you arrived and you knew it was time. You didn't put up a fight. You said a few words, we did roughly the same. You went straight back out the door that you came in. In hindsight, I wish I had said a few things about that damage you did. I look forward to seeing your face here soon. We'll pack a leg and try to verse the Perrier.
Okay, that was pretty tight, but look what punk's done to you. Yeah, I know it, I'm the same way too. Yeah, I know it, it's all coming true. So let's get going to this living soon. Take a look at what it's done to you. Look what it's done to us. Look what it's done to us. Look what it's done to us. And look what it's done to you. Bubbles rising over this godforsaken town, and nobody's around. I feel the evil reaching out to everyone. The night has just begun. It's happening again. It's happening again. I don't want to go back to the graveyard. Underneath those dying trees is where they tried to bury me alive. I don't want to go back to the graveyard. Please don't make me go back. You can make me go back. I'll keep on trying to face up to the spreading fear. Feels like the end is near. I sense those demons feeding on our souls and minds. Must make it through the night. It's happening again. It's happening again. I don't want to go back to the graveyard. Underneath those dying trees is where they tried to bury me alive. I don't want to go back to the graveyard. Please don't make me go back. You can make me go back. It's happening again. It's happening again. I don't want to go back to the graveyard. Underneath those dying trees is where they tried to bury me alive. I don't want to go back to the graveyard. Please don't make me go back. You can make me go back. I don't wanna go. 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 I don't wanna go.
Hey, you're still here. Imagine that in that Ferris Bueller tone. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. I hope you like this year's version of our year-end episode. I imagine next year will be just as tough because there's a lot of stuff coming out that people are looking forward to. Quick thank you again to all our loyal listeners, especially the WhatsApp group and anyone who has listened to the podcast and anyone who has told a friend to listen to the podcast. You can find us on Instagram at High Fives Podcast. That's where we post our lists and all that jazz. And it's probably the easiest way to get in touch with us too until we get a website again. which may never happen. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and most streaming services. But if you're listening to this, you probably figured that out. But in case you want to say something nice or leave a review, that would be rad. Again, I really never know what's going on with that. But I did like the comment thing in Spotify. That, like I've said, it's kind of cool that that's new to me. So leave a comment. My last pick is the album I listen to the most according to my Wrapped, or whatever the Apple Music version is called. I think it's called Replay, but maybe not. It might be accurate. It's probably not. I don't trust that thing at all. Here we go. The album is Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs. The band is Alkaline Trio. This is an album I was looking forward to, but didn't think would be as good as it is. I really do love Alkaline Trio. I really do love Alkaline Trio albums. This one feels like a return to form. I know we've talked about it before, how like every once in a while, after a big hiatus, if a band comes back, it feels fresh again. This definitely has that feeling to it. Maybe enough time had passed between the albums. And if I'm not mistaken, this has to be the biggest gap in between albums. I feel like Alkaline Trio puts out albums like fairly regularly. And then on top of it, you've got Skiba solo projects and Dan solo projects, etc. Right out of the gates, Hot for Preacher kicks off the album perfectly, and the hits just keep coming. Also, sidebar, Hot for Preacher, great name. And it doesn't hurt. The artwork is great, and they even released a single featuring 2 other tracks from this recording session that maybe even better than anything on the album. The song I went with is called "Shake With Me." Again, could have easily picked any song off this album. Thanks again for listening to this podcast and to me. This is the High Fives Punk Rock Podcast. My name's Mike, and this was my top 30 of 2024, or albums I loved in 2024. That's the year we're in, right? Sometimes I can't even remember that. That's old age for you. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay cool and be excellent to each other.
What do you see? Staring at the ceiling, what would you dream? If you could get to sleep at all, said you can't breathe. A choking fear feeling begs you to scream. Each and every night fall. If you're gonna go, then go, but go with caution. Hunt goes